You wake up, sit in traffic, stare at a screen, go home tired, and wait for the weekend. Monday morning, the alarm rings, and that hollow, numb routine starts all over again. Look at this chart based on a massive 2024 global workplace survey. A staggering 77% of workers are either quietly quitting or actively disengaged. Only this tiny sliver here, 23%, actually care about what they do. Society's solution to this misery is always the same. Follow your passion. Just look inside your heart and the answers will appear. But relying on this advice is exactly what keeps millions of people completely paralyzed. Escaping that daily grind means throwing out the conventional wisdom about finding your calling. We have to look at the actual mechanics of how fulfillment is built. Think of the model employee. They got the right degree, landed a decent salary, and made their parents proud. On paper, they have it all figured out, but internally, they feel completely empty. The root of this emptiness starts in school. Out of over 12,000 recognized career categories globally, the average student is only exposed to 10 or 15. If you don't know what an ornithologist or an industrial designer does, you can't possibly dream of becoming one. Then the financial chains lock in. You get a salary, take out an auto loan to buy a car, and sign up for a 20-year mortgage. Suddenly, half your paycheck vanishes into monthly installments, making the idea of leaving a job terrifying. To rationalize this, corporate culture rebrands exhaustion as dedication. You're told working 70-hour weeks and skipping weekends is just a growth mindset. That pressure keeps building until it manifests as severe burnout or literal panic attacks in the middle of the night. Pushing harder inside this framework doesn't lead to freedom. It only creates a more expensive cage. In 2018, Stanford researchers identified why people get trapped. They found that individuals who believe passion is an inherent trait, something you are born with, are stuck in a fixed mindset. The study revealed that passion is not a hidden treasure you suddenly unearth. It operates like a seed. It requires active, deliberate cultivation over time to grow into anything meaningful. Author David Epstein documents exactly how this cultivation works in his book Range. He analyzed world-class performers and found that the most successful people usually go through a long sampling period where they test out dozens of different fields before picking one. Take Roger Federer. Before committing to tennis, he played football, basketball, handball, and cricket. He sampled broadly to understand his own abilities. The same pattern applies to MS Dhoni. He spent his childhood exploring football and badminton, even serving as his school's football goalkeeper before he ever specialized in cricket. Locking yourself into a single path early on often leads to poor choices. Winning in the long run requires casting a wide net first. The process starts with a phase called Explore. For 30 days, dedicate just 30 minutes to look outward at careers you know nothing about, from cloud kitchens to marine biology, instead of trying to look inward. Next is the Engage phase. Pick a few of those new interests and put 20 hours into real-world practice. That translates to about 45 minutes a day for a month. If you're curious about photography, go shoot an event for free. You have to get your hands dirty. What you are testing for is a psychological phenomenon called flow state. This happens when a task perfectly matches your skill level, causing you to become so immersed that you completely lose track of time and feel energized rather than exhausted. But here is where 80% of people quit. During those first 20 hours, your work will be bad. A customer might complain, or a family member will call your new hobby a waste of time. Pushing through that initial embarrassment is mandatory. Flow state is only triggered by action and friction, never by sitting comfortably in your living room thinking about what you might be good at. Once you find an activity that induces flow, you enter the final step, excel. Psychologist Angela Duckworth defines this phase through the concept of grit, which she calculates as passion plus perseverance. The first few months of a new pursuit are always exciting, but around the 6-month mark, the novelty fades. Progress slows down, and the daily practice turns into a heavy, unglamorous grind. Duckworth's research at West Point proved exactly how crucial this phase is. She found that cadets who survived the brutal training weren't the ones with the highest natural aptitude. They were the ones with the highest grit scores. Deliberate practice requires showing up when you are incredibly bored. Enduring that friction is what actually solidifies a temporary interest into a permanent passion. It's easy to look at this process and think you are too old to start over. But globally, the average age for a career change is 39 years old. Starting at 34 is infinitely better than waiting until you are 44. And the end game of making that change is powerful. Look at Okinawa, Japan, a region known for having one of the highest concentrations of people living past 100. Their language doesn't even have a word for retirement. They attribute their longevity to ikigai, built on 4 pillars: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what pays. You actively develop skills and test markets for years to merge these elements together. You don't even have to quit your job right away. Research from San Francisco University shows that dedicating off hours to a passion project actually increases creativity and reduces burnout in your primary job. If watching this makes you feel restless, that's a good thing. That discomfort means the desire for something better is still active inside you. Don't suppress it by falling back into your old routine tomorrow morning. Use that restlessness to start exploring. It will be difficult, and you will face friction, but taking that uncomfortable path is the only way to break out of the cage. Subscribe if you're ready to start building.